This is a quick little lesson covering the adjective idem, eadem, idem. You'll notice it means the same, and we've got a three termination, so it's got a masculine, a feminine, and a neuter. The basic rule for declining idem, eadem, idem is that we're going to use a form of is, ea, id, and add the suffix dem. So whenever you see this dem, you should instantly think same. And the form of is, ea, id, that will determine the case. So let's take a look at what this is going to do. As a review, is, ea, id, remember, is an adjective that has an ius in the genitive and an e and an I in the dative singular. And after that, it becomes a fairly regular first and second declension adjective. Id is going to be the same as the nominative, but you have a stem e plus e plus am, eom, eam, id, ao, ea, ao, and the ablative. The other thing to remember is that in the plural, ei, which is what you'd expect, you've got an e stem with an I masculine plural ending. That e can assimilate to the I. So ei or ei, ai, ea, eorum, earum, eorum, as you expect. And then in the dative and ablative plurals for all genders, you have eis, which is what you'd expect, but that e again can assimilate to an I. So eis instead of eis. Now, if we take a look at the singular of idem, eadem, idem, remember it means the same. There are a few things you should take note of. First of all, the masculine nominative singular, that s has dropped out and that I has become long. So instead of istem, it's edem. Eadem is as you'd expect, feminine ea plus dem. And the neuter, idem, the extra d has dropped out. So instead of idem, we get idem. The genitive eustem, eustem, eustem is as you'd expect, the same with the dative, singular, eadem. And then in the accusative, instead of eumdem, that m has shifted when followed by a d to an n. So it's merely a shift in pronunciation, not actually a shift in form. So eandem, eandem, idem. The accusative being the same as the nominative. And then your ablative, eodem, eadem, eodem, as you'd expect. In the plural, it also is, as you'd expect, mostly a few shifts. And that is in the nominative plural, you have eadem, as you expect, but that double I instead of eadem just becomes a long I. So edem, eidem, eadem, and in the genitive plural, eorundem, so that m, like in the accusative singular, has shifted to an m. So eorundem, erandem, erundem. In the dative and ablative plurals, just as it happened in the nominative plural masculine, from eadem to edem, that eistem can also contract to an istem. So you'll see both eistem and istem in the accusative plural eostem, eastem, eadem, as you'd expect. But again, to reiterate, the basic rule is look for that dem. Once you see that, the whole dem, you know you're dealing with an adjective which means the same. And then look to the stem, whatever that dem has been added onto, and it will tell you the case, gender, and number that the idem is in.